Hey everyone, my name is Josh and welcome back to your fourth stimulus check and news update. In this video, we have a lot of news to get into, but first, if you would like to receive 2 free stocks from Webull valued up to $2,300, make sure to claim them by clicking my link, which you will find in the description box below. Okay, so with frustrations continuing to flare in Washington among moderate and progressive Democrats, Democratic leaders hope to keep them together. Over the next few weeks, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, and Joe Biden will need to convince the Progressive Caucus in the House and the moderate Democrats, well, mostly Joe Biden and Kyrsten Sinema, to work out some type of deal. Manchin and Sinema, at this point, are the 2 lone Democrats who aren't on board with the $3.5 trillion more in spending. Because of this, they've been taking a ton of heat, not just from Democrats, but from quite a few far left-leaning media shows. Here is The Daily Show, for example, absolutely making a mockery out of Manchin's actions.
Introducing Manchin, the politics game where everyone works together. Almost.
We're gonna pass an infrastructure bill.
You play as the Democratic majority in the Senate, but watch out, one player is the Manchin.
I have concerns over the partisan nature of this legislation.
Uh-oh. Looks like someone's the Manchin.
But Kyle, we're all on the same team. You know, America.
This bill cannot move forward without the support of at least one Republican colleague.
But there are no Republicans here. They didn't want to play.
With Manchin, you can feel the excitement of a narrow majority held hostage by one sanctimonious head.
And this has all sort of been a common theme. Anytime you turn on the TV, every network other than right-leaning ones are putting the entire blame on Manchin here. But let's not forget, even if they only end up spending another $1.5 to $2 trillion in the reconciliation package, that's still a lot of money. Before the past couple of years, with all these stimulus packages that were passed, we really didn't have too many of these gigantic bills. And really, what Manchin is calling for to make some of the benefits more needs-based really isn't all that bad of an idea. For example, the huge amount of credits given to people who buy electric vehicles. Is that a credit for people living in poverty, or a credit for people who have a lot of wealth already and are able to afford an electric vehicle? Also, in regards to some of the other credits, such as the child tax credit, perhaps we could lower the income levels on that as well. As of right now, someone could be earning $200,000 per year and still be earning around $2,000 per year from the child tax credit payments. Again, does someone with that much wealth really need a child tax credit? And also, with the universal pre-K and free community college, perhaps, as Manchin mentions, maybe that could only be given to lower income groups as well. Of course, it's really hard to know where to draw the line, and depending on where you live, a certain income could either be low or high, but still, just something to think about. So while House Speaker Pelosi and other Democratic leaders hope to convince progressive Democrats and the 2 moderates in the Senate to reach a deal, House Republicans, in large part, are now rallying against the bipartisan bill. Here is Representative Tim Burchett calling the bipartisan bill sloppy while absolutely tearing into the fact that we would be giving even more money to Amtrak despite them losing so much money over the past several years.
Thank you for yielding, Ranking Member Graves. I rise in opposition to this sloppy $1 trillion infrastructure package. This bill was advertised as fully paid for, Mr. Speaker. That is a lie. It includes $550 billion in new spending, will add almost $400 billion to the national debt. Yes, this bill includes funding for roads, bridges, railways, waterways, and broadband. Unfortunately, just 23%, or $127 billion, is for these programs. This legislation also includes the largest federal investment in Amtrak, which just posted an $801 million operating loss and has never, ever turned a profit in its 50-year history. That's typical government business, Mr. Speaker. Nobody in their right mind would invest in a financial sinkhole like Amtrak, but Congress sure as heck will, and they've become very fond of throwing money at programs that just don't work. Electric vehicle owners don't pay their fair share in taxes toward maintaining the roads they drive on, but this bill has special carve-outs for these folks. There is $7.5 billion for electric vehicles charging stations in this legislation. Folks who drive these cars are extremely wealthy, as nearly 80% of the electric vehicle owners make more than $100,000 in income and already receive tax credits for owning these cars. Worst of all, this bill increases federal bureaucrats' influence over local infrastructure projects. The United States Department of Transportation is a mile down the street from the Capitol building here in D.C., not in East Tennessee.
Gentleman is no longer recognized.
Mr. Speaker, you're going to have to get a little more aggressive with that.
So it's pretty obvious that Burchett really doesn't like the bill all that much. That's obvious, but we also have the House Minority Leader, Kevin McCarthy, doing his best to make sure 0 Republicans vote in favor of the bill once Pelosi allows for it to be voted on. When she does allow for a vote is yet to be seen, but if 0 Republicans are on board with the bipartisan bill, that means Pelosi will have even less room for error. Prior to this, even if a few progressive Democrats voted against the bill, the support from Republicans could have given her enough votes to get it past the finish line. But now, with the Republicans jumping off the ship, making it a partisan package, she will now need to make sure that every Democrat in the House votes in favor of it. Here is one Republican representative McCarthy won't have to put too much pressure on to oppose these spending packages, Madison Cawthorn, who says even Karl Marx would call these bills radical.
Thank you very much to my esteemed colleague. Thank you for your leadership on this issue. Madam Speaker, this is my generation's long-form death certificate. You endorsed it, you own it, and you will pass it. But I will be the one who pay for it. My generation. And if America still stands, my grandchildren will pay for this Trojan horse of a socialist proposal. $3.5 trillion in unhinged, unconscionable, irredeemable spending. It's the final nail in the coffin of the American dream. Karl Marx would even call this bill radical. Look at this. This is a pallet of $100 million. And for scale, beside that is me. And behind all of that is what the Democrats are proposed to spend. You've stolen my generation's checkbook. And Madam Speaker, we want it back. No American who votes for this trash should ever see the inside of a legislative chamber ever again. They should never take another oath of office for Congress, for State House. Hell, they shouldn't even be able to get on a mosquito control board because they have endorsed the demise of the country they swore to protect. This is what crushing, overwhelming, unrecoverable debt looks like. And we haven't even talked about the substance. This proposal is legislative malfeasance on the lifeblood of our country. Energy independence, and more importantly, energy dominance. You show me a nation's energy policies, and I'll show you the future of that nation. Under President Trump, our energy independence carved out our standing in the world. We were the captains of our destiny, not Middle East kingdoms. We augmented our national security through America First energy independence, not foreign reliance. America was leading the world. But when Joe Biden took office, our soaring, thriving energy independence came trashing down. Failed policies, fatal spending. That's your legacy, Madam Speaker. You have put before us a death wish for America. You stand guilty of financial treason, Madam Speaker, but the sentence will be served out by my generation.
Of course, Cawthorn is mainly talking about the reconciliation package, but with that said, it's hard really seeing him on board with the so-called bipartisan infrastructure bill either. So lots of pressure on House Speaker Pelosi in regards to getting this reconciliation bill agreed to, in addition to getting the bipartisan package voted on. Will she be able to get it done? All we can really do, as always, is wait and see. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. Again, if you would like to receive a couple free stocks from Webull, make sure to quickly claim them by clicking my link, which you will find in the description box below. To receive the first stock, you will need to fully open an account. Then to receive the second free stock, which will be valued up to $2,000, you'll need to make a qualifying deposit of at least $5. And even if you aren't all that interested in investing or continue to invest at this point in time, you can always sell the free stocks you receive and transfer that money, however much they're worth, right back to your bank account. So free stocks or free money is completely up to you. So once again, I hope everyone has a great and safe rest of their Sunday, and I'll see you in the next video.